In today's episode of Homestead How, we're having a brat party. We're having a bunch of people bring meat over and we're going to cook up 100 brats. It's going to be a lot of fun and we're going to show you how to make homemade brats in under 5 minutes. Plus we have some really fun flashback footage.
Listen, this is just the gross part, okay?
You could have told me that.
It's fine.
It's not fine, it's disgusting.
Okay, stop, you're gonna ruin the whole video over it?
Yes, I am.
No, you're not. We're making brats. We're making brats.
So the first step to making brats is to get some natural casings from your butcher. Go to your meat market or butcher and go up to the counter and ask them for some natural casings. They'll ask you how many pounds of brats you're going to make and they'll give you the correct amount. This is kind of the gross part, as Alyssa mentioned earlier in the intro. You do have to wash these out. They come packed in salt water and they'll last a long time in your refrigerator, but you want to wash all of that salt water out, both inside and out. Now you're going to need a way to grind up your meat to make your brats and to pack the casings to make the sausages themselves. We have this Lem Big Bite number 22. This thing's a beast. It works really well, but they have other grinders that you can attach to your KitchenAid mixer, for example, or you can even go real old school and use like a hand grinder. Next, you need to get some meat. In our case, we went to the butcher and we got some pork shoulder and some pork butt. And you'll want to, of course, adjust your recipe depending on how many brats you're doing. We're doing a ton of them here on the screen, but I'll leave a recipe in the description below. And of course, you don't want this to be frozen, but you do want to put the meat in the freezer for maybe a half an hour before you grind it. And that just makes it grind a lot easier. And now we're just cutting these up into smaller chunks, maybe 3 to 4 inches, so that we can easily push it into the top of the grinder. So most grinders come with 2 grinding dies. One of them is for a thick, coarse grind, and the other one is for a fine, coarse grind. We're going to do both. So we're going to start with the thick, coarse grind, which you see here on the screen. And while I'm doing that, we can mix up our seasoning and all of our spices, and we'll add that to the mix before we put it through with the fine grind. The fun part about making brats is you can season them however you like. If you like more garlic or more spice, you can of course add that in. I'll leave a recipe in the description below. This is the recipe that we used, and we added some warm water to the mix to really incorporate all the spices, and then we added those spices to the thick grind before putting it back through the grinder with the fine grind die in there. Having a party was a lot of fun because everybody brought their own meat and their own spices. So we had several different types of brats. Some beer brats, some garlic brats, some spicy brats, and more. So as you can see, it's pretty simple. With the 2 grinds done, we put the casings on this 1-inch casing tube and we start feeding the grinded meat through the tube. And now this part takes a little bit of practice just to get the speed right, but it goes pretty smoothly as long as you don't go too quickly. So the final step is to twist up your links, and you want to alternate. You want to twist one forward and the next one backward so you don't untwist the previous one. And it's pretty smooth. Then you can throw them in the refrigerator overnight to dry out before cooking them, or you can just cook them right away like we did. So we had a great time with this. We ended up cooking up 100 brats and brat patties in one day. It was a lot of fun, and thanks for everyone that came out.